I think, which is to say, what I'm hearing from you, all of you, to some extent, is that things will come back to normal. Yes, there is shift towards digital, uh, local experience, the ability to connect socially, people important. Uh, am I right to hear that folks are not seeing, if I can say, a shift in business model, slightly longer term? Yes, there is clearly more investments in digital, as I just spoke about, that are going back across the value chain and building through, but not, if I can say, a fundamental change in business model for whether it is to do with significantly more online, and therefore you're sort of pivoting your model towards being playing with that better, or with hyper local. So is that
No, no,
is
no.
that
Business models are constantly shifting. There is no upheaval, I would say.
right?
To give you a perspective, and this was something which some other speaker also brought up. So when we went into lockdown, 1 out of 2 of our customers was visiting our site before coming to the store. So that is what we used to call digital influence. Online sales were less than 3% for us of the total sales. Today, online sales has grown to 10% of our total sales. But instead of 1 out of 2 visiting the site before coming to the store, that number is now 3 out of 4. Okay, so it's a progression. If similarly, if you look at digital payments, whether in our stores or on our site, or doing transactions by EMIs, that has also seen a rapid increase. Okay, so changes are happening constantly. It's about staying nimble, keeping your ear to the ground, both on the side of what the customer is asking as well as what the environment demands, and you'll keep shifting along. I don't think it's a fundamental shift. You shut down your stores and you convert to a website, but yes, or vice versa. But yes, you will see more businesses acquiring a digital strategy, because it's a great way of informing the customer, soaking him in the purchase, and letting him decide to buy whether he wants to buy online or offline.
Anurag, Anurag, I'll just reiterate the point Ritesh made. That's absolutely right. 95% of retail was offline prior to pandemic. It will still be 90%, right? That's not changed. And I'm talking across categories. It's just that that would be a sliding scale, and the influence though would continue to grow much faster. How do we stay close to the consumers on that channel? I think that is important, and continue to build more deeper capabilities such that offline and online are not considered two separate teams, right? It's like online being a, to an extent, omni-channel strategy that never gets executed. I think a lot of those things, those paradigms are just becoming what they always should have become at a much faster pace than what was happening in the past. I think offline will remain a very strong component. That's at least what our business is entirely built upon. Humans will want that interaction, those experiences. Even in a category like essentials, walking into a store to be able to consume, right, or to be able to see what is it that I can consume, that's also very fundamentally a retail experience. So offline will remain. It's just better integration with online that's happening now, or the better companies are doing that.
Right, right. Ajay, you were saying something.
So, Anurag, I think, the consumer, if he's looking for a brand, if he's made up his mind to buy something, I think it's also up to the brand as to where is the brand considering it better to engage with the consumer or catch him. Of course, all the good brands would have all the channels. I'm not really disagreeing with what the previous people said in any way. The physical channel, the hyper local, store, all of that is, existing. However, like Anshu said, as if 95% becomes 90%, what does that mean for that channel? And if, e-commerce becomes from 3% to 10%, what does that mean for that channel? That's one aspect. But the aspect for the brand is, where are you going to find a lower cost to serve, a higher return on marketing investment? And how are you going to actually adjust for yourself? What is going to be your bet? So one bet which is very evident to certain categories is there's going to be a war between Flipkart, Amazon, Jio and JioMart. And that is going to result in, I would say, two very big issues. One issue is it's going to become the cheapest place where the consumer can buy something. And the consumer is going to recognize that. And that bleeding is going to affect. So the consumer is going to go to the physical store and probably not buy there. So that's obviously going to hurt the physical stores, and they have to adjust with a smaller footprint. So the sizes of the stores surely has to go down. Otherwise, the stores won't be profitable anymore. On the other side, the whole distributor piece is completely, the middleman is, got to figure out really how efficient he's going to be, because what does he really do in this world where so for certain categories, e-commerce is, contributing too much. The last part is, what's really going to be for the brand the most profitable way to reach the consumer. What's the pushback on the cost to serve? Really, does an e-commerce say, listen, and you give me 15% and I'll get your product across, and does physical retailers give me 35% and I want more? So what we are seeing is that physical retail for too long, the small hyperlocal store has been very driven on margins and incentives, and not passing many of those on to the consumer. Whereas the e-commerce shift is very much the other way around. They want to have a war on, how they lure the consumer to their place. They are not bothered about positive cash flows. So if you look at a country like India, Indian consumers very sensitive to pricing. So you see a more rapid acceleration. Also, India, has now been enabled digitally before. The phones in the hand of people, the price comparison story becomes very, very important. So in summary, what I'm saying is that if you ask me to do some crystal ball gazing, I'd say digital grows faster than what anybody is imagining, because firstly, it gives you reach. It gives you a lot of reach. You get into places where you don't think, you ever could sell. We are selling on our website to a returning non-resident Indian wanting his home done up in Canada. So that's not something you are even aspiring for, and that's coming to you. So this gives you tremendous reach. Then, of course, the smaller town reach, where you don't think a store is viable yet for your brand, at least for the EBO. And the third piece is it gives you the lowest cost for the consumer as well as for you. If it's going to be low cost for the brand and it's going to be low cost for the consumer, then these guys are funding the whole journey much efficiently for both of these players. And that's going to be the channel to play, is what I feel. That's where you should be spending a little bit more of your effort than you have been doing. The physical channels, definitely will stay, but will cede territory.